you. Thank you all. Thanks for coming. Well, thanks. And hi, I'm Bill Maher, and this is Politically Incorrect, the show that has this advice for all artists who are ahead of their time. Slow down! Well, today my guests are Lorraine, Bracco, Matt Lauer, Roseanne Arnold, and John O'Sullivan. And we're going to be talking about manners. For example, I had dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer shortly before his arrest. I said, Jeff, I don't like your friends. He said, then just eat the noodles. And we're going to be talking about America, the only country still in the business of making bombs that can end the world and TV shows that make it seem like a good idea. And we're going to be talking about convenient feminism. Believe me, I am an ardent feminist. I'm just like Camille Paglia with a smaller penis. And remember, all the material you'll see on the show has been, as always, satirized for your protection. You heard America causes cancer by communists. Since Vietnam, we only fight the easy part. Everybody up to that. Politics, the show business, couldn't just Reagan without the Spanish. All the women in the world.
Sexual matters.
Like sex.
I have a dream.
All right, welcome back to the show. Now it's time to meet the combatants. First of all, Academy Award nominee for a role in Goodfellas and soon to be seen in Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, Lorraine Bracco. All right, also the host and producer for HBO's Entertainment News and anchor for the morning news on New York's WABC TV, Matt Lauer.
This is fun, huh?
And, of course, the queen of show business, Roseanne Arnold. And finally, the editor of the National Review, John O'Sullivan. All right, let's get right to the issues. Question number one, manners. The point of a necktie is that it has no point. It's just there to say respect, to say, I want this job, or perhaps I want to get in your pants. Restaurants used to make men wear neckties, and it was their way of saying, we're serious about you getting laid, even if you're not. If you want to go home with just a peck on the cheek, go eat at Sizzler. I'm sure women are thinking now if there were only a restaurant that made men not fall asleep 10 seconds after sex. Which is just another form of rudeness that has become as common and acceptable nowadays as a tattoo on your ass. My question is the downfall in manners merely annoying, or is it a harbinger to the fall of our civilization? And Roseanne, you are the perfect person to answer that question.
What was the question?
I don't know.
You
Manners.
asked me about bad
How
manners.
important are they that we have none anymore?
How important are they that we have none anymore?
The next question is about grammar.
Well, I think you're confusing manners with civility, neither of which I like. Thank you. I think they're both detrimental to society. I think they're based on BS, elitism, racism, classism, and everything else. And it's like who's the whitest and who's the richest, and that's what manners are. And if the lack of them is the harbinger of the fall of that culture, then I think it's great.
Well, now that you've
and I have a tattoo on my ass.
I know. Now that you've had your little hissy fit.
How rude of you.
Well, let's get. Now, you look like an erudite young man, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Erudite, maybe.
Would you care to take on that opinion?
I reckon that it's with great respect, Miss Arnold.
You don't have to put on an accent to do it.
Well,
we believe you're cultured.
Well, you know, I speak the same as anyone else if you wake me up at night, but you won't ever get the chance. Now...
Oh, darn.
Now...
I was hoping to take you home.
Now, you see, the point about manners is that they enable good manners, which I actually do support and favour, they enable people to disagree without coming to blows. If you ever notice the really vicious rows, they're always between people using their Christian names. They're never between people who are saying Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. That establishes a certain distance between people, which enables them to disagree quite violently in a moral sense, but actually without physical violence. And that's why I think they're a good thing. They're part of what makes society full of different people who disagree on virtually everything, to go along without constantly breaking into violence. This is not a well-mannered city. It's also a violent city. The two are connected.
Absolutely, yes. How about that? And, I mean, he brought up New York.
It is also a city that does not just speak English.
Exactly.
Show you a city that doesn't
Speak English.
But what is
Take a taxi and you have to speak a different language.
Right, and sometimes you have to get out of it because it stinks so bad.
That's true, too.
It's the BO capital of the world. And that's a part of manners, isn't it? I mean, Roseanne, if you get on an elevator and it stinks to high heaven, don't you think that's rude?
You know what? One time, my ex-mother-in-law was sponsoring, her church was sponsoring these people over from Thailand after the war, Thai people.
Jewish people?
No, they were, my ex-mother-in-law, they were very born again in the whole deal. The Thai people could not come in American people's homes, these particular people, because they said we stink so bad and our body odor is so offensive to them because of what we eat. So it's not just everyone who's offensive to us good old Americans. We stink to other people,
and you
too.
remember that when President Bush, who is a
and
patrician...
someone stinks really bad up here tonight.
Well, you know, it's the second show of the day. But when President Bush went to Japan, he threw up to his direct left.
What?
Which is the correct way to do it.
So I got the good seat.
In a foreign country. And now we have
Can
not
you
heard
believe
from
he
you.
did that right after he called me disgusting?
No, I don't think that we should worry about the people with bad manners who are rude. They're not the people. I mean, you know where they stand. It's the people who are polite to you and then cut your heart out with a spoon when you turn your back.
So that's what I meant by
that worries
civility.
me. I mean, no, seriously. And it's always the polite guy who goes into the post office and shoots the place up. You're always hearing the interviews after the crime who says, you know, oh, he was a quiet guy, he was real nice. He's in the post office with the Uzi, not the rude guy.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's kind of like sometimes the people on the street are asking you for money, and they don't just ask you money, they say, well, you know, I could rob and kill you, but I'm not going to. Oh,
Well, I
boy,
think that's because
thank
they're
you.
being polite.
All right, you always have to get the last word in. All right, next up, the Cold War game and how it went from Russian roulette to Monopoly. Welcome back. Issue number 2. The Barr brawl that this country had with Russia for 50 years ended with the collapse of the Soviet Union, and now America sits astride the world unchallenged like no power since ancient Rome. Now, when Rome had that kind of power, they lived by the famous rubric, if you can't eat it, sell it, or screw it, kill it. America does not do her business that way. When Vietnam had a civil war, we sent our troops. When we had our civil war, was there one Vietnamese soldier over here helping? America could be a bully in the world that would make the Idi Amin regime look like a tea party in Murray Hill. But we don't, and we should get credit for that. Now, do you agree with that, Mr. O'Sullivan?
Yeah, well, you may have guessed I'm not originally an American, and I happen to think that if you go to European countries, the biggest thing they worry about is America's going to withdraw. They don't want America to leave. They want America to stay there because America is a guarantor of European peace. Now, if America were an oppressive power, if people were afraid it was going to dominate their lives in an unpleasant way, rule them in ways they didn't like, they wouldn't want America to stay. It is because they know America is essentially a decent country. Now, it's committed its crimes in the world. Show me a people or a country that hasn't. What's not unique about America, there are one or two other countries, but what is rare is that a power which has such power has in general used it well and used it to preserve other people's freedom rather than to take it away.
Exactly my point, Doctor. Now, I guess I'll...
Now, wait a minute. Now, where in the world is that?
It's anywhere in
Where is that?
anywhere in Western Europe.
What,
If you go to
they're having like all the race riots and the rise of neo-Nazism.
He's all over
Is that
Western
where they're
Europe.
real happy to
Is that
have
happening
us?
everywhere in Western Europe?
Nazi
Is it?
schmazi.
No, it isn't.
Well,
And
where is
it's-
it that everyone's happy that we're over there?
Well, people in Western Europe want America to stay there precisely because they are worried that something like neo-Nazism would ever rise again. America would be there to stop it, to deter it in the first place. Nazism actually arose when America wasn't in Europe, and America was the power which intervened in the Second World War to stop Nazism. So, I mean, the rise of neo-Nazism, which I think is somewhat exaggerated at present, nonetheless, if it really were a threat, it would be an argument for America staying there, not for America coming home.
No, I'm just asking who's happy that we're there.
Well, I
I
think-
never heard that before.
Well, if you talk to, well, I am a European, and I think that most Europeans want America to stay.
Oh.
I'd also say, by the way, that's also true of people who are afraid, say, like the Japanese, who are afraid of the rise of Chinese power. They know that while America is an Asian power, a Pacific power, while it's present in the area, they don't have to protect themselves. They don't have to acquire nuclear weapons against the Chinese.
But
Would
what
you be
about our
happy-
country, though? It's falling apart. So who's going to come over here and save us?
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't
What do
think
you
America's
mean that
falling
country
apart.
is falling apart?
It is.
Well,
Well-
but anyway, that's not the issue. The issue is that we could be a lot worse bullies than we are, and no one gives us credit for that. No one puts it into perspective. I mean, we lost the Vietnam War, okay, but, you know, we could have won that war in 1 second.
You know what gets me though?
By dropping a bomb
You know,
on them. And you think Rome wouldn't have done
Well,
that?
what are we going
Let me
to do
tell you how
about the
Rome
fact
dealt
that
with
we don't
Vietnam.
have a good education system? What about that? And we
That's
have no
not-
health care. What about that?
That's a different show.
Okay.
Please, speak.
Freedom of choice. And
Great, everybody's got their own issue.
You know what gets is when we go into a place like Grenada, we take this huge military machine, we march into Grenada, everybody complains, we're picking on the little guy. Who in their right mind wants a fair fight in a war? I mean, seriously, you want to kick somebody's butt. You don't want to go in and have it go back and forth. They lose 1,000 guys, we lose 1,000. You want to go in, you want to wipe them out in like 4 days and get out of there.
But the
Why
point,
do they complain?
Yeah, but we didn't go there to wipe anybody out.
We went there to preserve democracy
We went there
on an
because
island close to our
Claude-
shores.
Claude-
Why do they
Colbert
call
was
it
in
civil
trouble.
war, though? Because there's no war that's really civil.
That's right. But
Semantics.
that's a good point.
yeah. But the point is that when we go into a country, it's not for the reasons that other nations traditionally have gone in when they had the kind of power we had.
Well,
went
they
in-
thought they were
went
going in to save people. Nobody goes
No, they
anywhere to be
didn't.
mean.
They went in for-
I
they-
mean, nobody goes in a country to be mean.
Yes, that's
They
exactly.
go there because they think they're bringing a better way of life,
Well,
and
I don't-
because they think they know better than the native
Well,
people.
I don't
you've
think
got
the
a
Nazis
geranium in
went
the
into
cranium,
social
young
work.
lady, because
You-
I'm telling you that other
the
nations throughout
difference between
history have
Nazis
gone
and
in, and
social
back
work
me
is-
up on this. I mean, for conquest, and for booty, a lot of booty is a big thing. Not to mention pirates, and also to put the people into slavery and to take the women off. You know, the rape of the Sabine women and all that. And whenever we, even in Vietnam, wasn't our goal
What is the
noble?
point
I'm
of
not
this
gonna be the
stupid,
spokesman
The
for
stupid
point is, we're
discussion?
done. All right, coming up. Women and convenient feminism. You'll like this one. Feminists complain that women are paid only 65% of men's salaries. But
70.
but men need that extra 35% to pay for dates. All right, like it or not, we're back. Now, issue number 3. If you were on a sinking ship and yelled, "Women and children first," how much feminist opposition do you think you'd get? Though claiming to be feminist, don't many women, when it suits them, when it's convenient, retreat back to their pre-feminist role of manipulating men through helpless, deferential behavior? Women want to fight men for equal pay, but how often do they fight a man for the check, not counting Madonna? They want an unlimited role in the military, but would they subject themselves to the draft if it were reinstated? And any man who questions a woman's physical capabilities gets branded as sexist. But who do they call when there's a spider to be killed? Convenient feminism, crackpot theory, or dangerous lunacy?
I get to answer that.
You get to answer that one.
Love the choices.
I think that.
You know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's simple. Like, we could just say, "Oh well, screw dinner. Let me just take your Platinum American Express card," right?
I'd like to see it. I'd like
Well,
to
I
see you
wouldn't ask
try.
you. But
Well, that's the thing. That this I read a magazine article, and a guy called certain way said they were dinner whores. It's a term now.
I have
Dinner
to say that
whore.
I'm one of them.
I'm proud of
A
it.
total food slut. I will go anywhere for free food. I'd do anything. Have eaten with couples, women, men, anything.
Well, have you ever slept with a man because the dinner was on the house?
You had a buffet once.
An unknown voice off camera.
I don't think women want to be equal to men. And I think we'd have to have lobotomies to do that.
That's not the issue.
And well, what is the
Never
issue
address-
then?
The issue is convenient feminism.
Yes, I believe it exists.
What about this? And let's get the men to talk about this too, because it affects you too. Don't you think women, when it suits them,
yes.
they're all about equality, and then when it
Well,
suits
so
them,
are men.
Men are
Men
what?
are all the time, like it used to be, there's a big difference between men and women. And then when it became like another issue about equal pay, then the men started going, there's biological differences. Just because they don't want to change any damn diapers.
I don't get your point. What is your point?
Men are the ones who are on both sides of that issue, way more than women are.
That's
Because it's
ridiculous.
convenient,
Men don't
and
have
they
the wherewithal.
because men have the convenient privilege to decide when they're going to be pro-women and when they're going to be anti-women. Women don't have that privilege. We're always women.
You're always anti-men.
No, it's a man's
Please.
world.
Really?
Yes.
For
Well,
example,
you
when the ship's sinking and the women and children,
Well,
it's
they
still a
mean-
man's world at that
Ah.
point.
Now, when they say women and children first, they mean to go overboard and die.
Well,
And then they start picking which color men get to stay on.
they get what?
Then they start deciding which colors of men get to stay on longer on the boat.
Who makes all these decisions? What is this kind of executive
like
committee
you.
that's sitting? I wish that were the case. But does it seem to be? I mean,
These fake Britons, people.
I'm actually a genuine article, but where are these people who make these decisions? You're constantly sort of saying men make this decision, but
Yeah.
the fact is, who are the people who decide to throw the women overboard, as you put it?
Do we have...
Because I'd like to join the committee. It doesn't...
Well, Matt and I are gathering some names right now. No, I mean, you'd think we have some meetings. Have you ever been in a meeting like where we decided all this stuff? I mean,
No, because those meetings happen in
Would
those
you-
little enclaves where only males are allowed to go. And you know why they go there without, well, you know why women are not allowed to go into those places? Because that is where the males all dress up like women and have sex with each other.
we'll be right back. I'm not even gonna- All right, welcome back. Now, we've had so much fun with this panel, with notable exceptions, that we are going to forego our usual end pieces that we do with Bill Sheff today, and we're going to ask them a final fourth question. We're going to go around the panel and have equal time.
Miss Arnold.
All right, I didn't say that. And the question is, are some subjects so serious that you just shouldn't tell a joke about them? Lorraine? I don't know why.
I know. I believe we should be able to joke about anything. I happen to like that.
Anything?
Yeah, sure.
There's nothing that ever offended you. Do you know Roseanne?
Yes. And Roseanne doesn't offend me, and I congratulate
I'm-
Roseanne for speaking her mind and being who she is.
Well, I don't either.
Well,
Yeah. We're
Thank
the.
you,
She
Yeah.
waited till the end of the
You're
show to
welcome.
suck up to
Yeah,
Roseanne,
Yeah, right.
Yes, well, we have a movie coming out, so I thought that it would be appropriate, you know.
You do have a movie coming out, don't you?
Yes, we have a movie coming out.
Are you serious? Together?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Well, I didn't write it on the card. I don't know anything.
Come
we
on,
turn
Matt.
this over to you.
I think there are things that you don't joke about. I think kids dying. I think people dying in wars, murders. But the problem is, I'm a hypocrite on this because there are times that I've heard jokes about things like that, and I've laughed.
Your ass
I
off,
laughed my
right?
ass off, right? But I don't think I would make the joke in my car driving in, listening to You Know Who or something like that. Yes, I've laughed, but I think there are times you just got to leave people alone and say taboo.
Who's You Know Who?
I mean, like guys like Howard Stern, they make jokes. The minute somebody's in the ground, boom, they're
He's so
joking.
big, all you have to say is, you know who?
I guess so.
This guy, Tom, is that
guess
right?
so. Oh, how'd that happen?
Yes, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Well, I reckon there are, in fact, a lot of things you shouldn't make jokes about, which doesn't mean to say I would pass a law banning anybody or stop it happening. It's simply that I think respect for other people's really profound basic values, particularly religious ones, I wouldn't make jokes about them. But there's a big proviso. One of the most brilliant pieces of
he's got a big proviso.
in the English language.
I've heard that about you.
One of the most profound attacks on wickedness was the piece by Jonathan Swift called A Modest Proposal, which
yes.
he recommended that since the Irish were overpopulated and since they had too many children, why didn't they solve the problem by eating their babies? Now, this particular piece of savagery was a sort of humor, but it affected how people felt about things.
And
People
this is
felt
some years
ashamed.
ago. You should
This is 200 years ago.
Right, okay. No, they may not know that.
But I remember it well. and I think that's quite important to remember, that savage humor of that kind can be very valuable.
Yes.
And I agree.
And the last word to...
And I agree. But this is what I have to say, is that the subject and the object of the joke have to be in the right place. And I think you can joke about anything. I don't like jokes that have the traditional victim. But if the object or the subject of the joke is like the system that creates the victim, it could be very funny.
What about America? Do you think that we're too powerful in the world? All right, listen,
So yes, I think we can joke about anything.
Well, and we have.
As long as we do it with good taste.
Shut up now. I'd like to thank Lorraine Bracco, Mott Lauer, Roseanne Arnold, and John O'Sullivan, and everyone here and our little family. Thank you. Join us next time on Politically Incorrect.